which is beautiful. Welcome to Tier 2 of Season 3 at Brazil.
What it means is we're really good and we've caught them just on time.
Yeah.
And it's not often we do that, so enjoy it while you can. Oh, pardon me. My bad.
Oh.
Yeah, this particular race wasn't a great result for me last season.
Wow.
I think I see. Right, just about on the edge of the top 10. I think I was like P11 or something. I looked earlier. Well, Teabag's already in the comments with some eyes.
Hiya, Teabag.
No, like actual eyes.
Oh, Jesus.
And then it says, let's go AlphaTauri, lads.
Oh. So here it is, the Sao Paulo.
Get on.
Here is the Sao Paulo Grand Prix circuit.
And now he appears to have found a toy from the 90s. He says, yo, yo, yo. He got carried away.
Have
we actually got anyone out? I think we've got...
Yeah, we've got a Red Bull coming. That is Joseph coming out first.
As well. I just can't tell which one it is yet. I think it's Kieran. It is.
No,
oddly, it is. It's Kieran. This is odd because usually Kieran waits until towards the end of the session.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not got his usual amount of confidence into in this particular circuit.
I don't know, but Joseph's warming up.
And he waits till late. Ah, right, that explains a lot. So Cammy's just dropped us a message saying there will be rain at some point in qualifying, but there will be a dry race.
Ooh. Thank you for that, Cammy.
That might explain why everyone's out early. Maybe that rain's going to be quite soon, because some of them will
Joseph's had enough.
And it will say 5 minutes or something until rain or something like that.
Joseph has had enough and is now on the side of the track waiting for everybody.
Well, unfortunately there's a lot of cars moving about, so...
And he spun again!
That's probably hot tyres then.
That is a set of softs gone already.
Yeah, that is not going to help him at all. I'm just watching it back on the stream. Yeah, he's not helping himself. He's spinning back around. Okay, he's on the grass, but it still heats the tyres up. Just not as much as the tarmac. Kieran's just in a 17.3 purple first sector, but of course, there's no laps down, so they're all going to show purple.
You know what? Let's follow Scott round.
I think Scott's actually behind Kieran.
Ah, nice one. Yes, he is.
I'm going to say there was a Mercedes in the background that seems to be keeping on with Kieran, so if these two stay as they are, then this will be pretty close times from the two of them.
If not Scott quicker, because he is gaining on Kieran.
I know
51.4 in the second sector.
Yeah, I know during practice they were similar times themselves, so you may find that Scott uses a tow as he has and gone alongside and now actually ahead.
That ain't bad from Scott.
Not all. That gained him 2/10 there, and they're side by side as they go through turn 1 and 2.
Oh, that's another thing we have not mentioned yet. We have got a debutant for Tier 2.
Yes, we do.
Mr. Aidan Gray moving up from Tier 3.
Yes, he has. He's moved up with ODD Wickham going the other way.
Yes.
He was, I think his debut was last week. I think it was, or you were off.
Ah.
Unless it was the week before, it might have been. I can't remember, but
I think it was
really
last week.
Anyway, yeah, he's only had 1 or 2 races with us, and as Aiden actually goes faster to the 107.974,
as J-Doy comes in.
Yeah, J-Doy's just come in with
107.957, yeah.
And Cammy's just gone just a little faster with the 930. These are very, very close times at the top. I mean, between Scott with a 108.064 and Cammy with a 107.930, there's only just over a tenth split in the top 6 as it stands. Bearing in mind, there's only 2 thousandths between Warrior Huntsman and Scotty in P5 and P6.
Oh.
The rest are quite...
2 thousandths between Matthias and Macebin too. 1,000th between Macebin and Arman.
Yeah, these are some really, really close times. This is going to be really competitive qualifying, looking at these times. Aside from, as we know, Joseph had a bit of an off on his lap, so...
Yeah.
And I was still on board with Kieran because I wasn't paying attention to who was on the screen. It looks like he's got a bit of lag. His car keeps jumping about. I don't know if it's just me as I'm looking at him, but he does coming through down the straight and he's doing it again down the second DRS zone.
Arman is 1/10 slower in the second sector.
See, my qualifying runs around here. Oh, that was weird. So Joseph went off track and then lagged back on track. So I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
Yeah, my qualifying times around here are around about the P11 mark, around about where Coolpy is right now, the 108.2. That's around about where I've been doing qualifying times during practice. So, I mean, I know these guys are going to be a fair bit faster than me, because obviously I'm a tier 3 driver, so I do apologise. My eldest is winding up the wife. But yeah, I mean, I was somewhere between the 108.2s and the 108.5s.
Yeah.
So
as we've got Roman and Saurus out on track, just coming through the final corner.
Yeah, I think there's only one guy out there really on a lap that hasn't actually set a time yet, as Cameron Poulter is now going out for his lap too.
Well, 108.4 puts Ronan into P13.
Yeah, that's not going to be safe. He's going to need another run with that.
As Kieran's also coming out as well.
Yeah, the thing I find about this track, the same as we've had last season, was really you only really want to go for one flying lap on this, even on the minimum amount of fuel. I mean, you could probably squeeze 2 out of the ERS, but you'd be running really low on ERS by the time you got across the line. You'd be in that small window of not having enough ERS to get the full power out of the engine anymore.
Yeah.
Where it loses a little bit of performance towards the low end of your ERS window.
Yeah.
So me personally, I only ever go for one flying lap round here. So I normally go out, I do an out lap, then I do a fuel burner lap to get down as much fuel as I can, and then I'll go for a flying lap. Because the minimum you can come out with is 3.6. So I'll do a lean lap, and then I'll do 2 standard laps, one of them as a fuel burner and one of them as a flying lap. Just purely because of the ERS issue you have with it. Although it's not as bad as Portugal, where you run out of ERS before you cross the line.
Yeah.
Not quite that bad. But it does burn up a lot of ERS around.
Kieran's had an off.
And Macebin's out.
Oh.
I don't know where though, I don't know if that's on track. That's on the exit of turn 4. Just on the entrance to turn 5, it looks like it's got too much curb and ended up in the wall. I can't actually... Who's just coming past him? There's a Ferrari.
Colby.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say...
Yeah.
Yeah, Clay had just
turn
come out.
4.
I wasn't sure which Ferrari it was. Yeah, it was the exit of 4, the entrance to 5. As Matey Boy's just coming past him. It's the exit 4. As Cameron Porter's just put in a 107.911. So again, a really, really close time to all these other guys.
What would you say the benchmark is for a lap?
It's got to be around a 108.2, because if you look at these times that people are putting in, between P1 and P8 there's only about a tenth and a half. Then there's a slight gap, there's about a tenth gap to P9. And
as Colby really sets a 107.720.
Yeah, I mean, I expect Clay's going to get in the top part, and the same with Ginge as well. I expect him to get in the top part, which means those guys...
I'll just pop on with Ginge a minute.
Like, if you look at it, because Macebin's crashed, unless he gets bumped down a position, we are only going to have 14. But right now, Rhinosaurus is in P14, and he's right on the cusp, and he's a 108.4, which means Jack Slater on a 108.2, that might be around about the window to cut off.
Yeah.
Would be my guess. But we haven't had that rain yet. I mean, we've got 2 more qualifying sessions, so we don't know when that rain's going to come, but we do know there will be rain. So we've had a couple of comments as well while we've been talking.
Yeah. As Ginge posts a 107.9.
Yep. T-Bag says prediction for race podiums, and hopefully Tier 3 has rain in Quali 2 just for my strat. Because you know him, he loves the rain. And Jado says, I shouldn't need to do another lap, hopefully. Well, I think you'll be alright there on the time you set there. You still P5, Jado, so you should be alright, I think. But this just proves my point around about a 102. If you look now, Sociopath is in the 102s, and he's in the drop zone.
Yeah.
Matey Boy is only just inside the 102s by 3 thousandths, and he's just safe. So it is going to be around about a 102. It may even be less.
Oh, as Armand goes off circuit,
maybe more like a 108.15 or something like that. Maybe the cut off.
Armand went off circuit, and it didn't invalidate his lap.
He may have lost time and been slower. That again was something else we were talking about earlier, the track limits, and it isn't just this track, it's a lot of the tracks, but this track is really, really keen about track limits.
Yeah.
I had, I think it was 3 wheels off the track at turn 4, on the exit of turn 4. I still had my front left on track, and I invalidated my lap. It is really hot on the lap invalidations around here. You've got to be really careful. In some places you can't even take 2 wheels off because it'll invalidate you. It's brutal around here for track limits. We did a practice race the other night with Harry, who's one of our Tier 1 drivers, and I think he picked up 15 seconds by the end of the race, purely on track limits.
As Matthias is setting,
he's now gone a 108.103, so Sociopath is now safe, but that means Matey Boy, who was on the cusp of that 108.2 that we mentioned, is now in the drop zone. As Rhinosaurus is out.
And that looks to be turn...
That's sector 2, yeah. In fact, Sociopath is just coming up to it. He's a couple of turns away now. So
oh, Matthias almost slid where Macebin did.
Yeah, I can see exactly what he's done there as well. I've done it myself. Coming around that turn, it's kind of slightly downhill, and you have to take quite a tight line, and if you clip the curb, it will just spin your car around and it'll put you in the left-hand wall. And I think that's exactly what he's done. He's gone straight to the left-hand wall. And
as Matthias is coming up to the last couple of corners.
Dropping in the pits, I thought so. Ooh, he got down just about in time there. Kieran slightly improved through sector 1. and 2, and he's now
Matthias improved.
less than half a tenth up. He was through sector 1. He was less than half a tenth up. Kieran's now 0.173 up as he enters sector 3, and he actually goes purple sector 2 as well. So this could be a good time from Kieran, who is P13 at the minute, so he has to improve, and he does by exactly 2 tenths and goes P5 with a 107.931, which is 10 thousandths faster than Schnitzy. So this is unusual as well. We've actually got Clay in the drop zone.
Yeah, and
he's got to find around about half a second, minimum half a second on this lap. So I'm just going to stay on board with him.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Because it's quite strange to see Clay in that drop zone. Looked like a bit of hesitation into turning in for turn 1 there. There's a yellow flag in sector 1 there.
2. That's in sector 2. Someone's gone into low fuel mode.
I think he's backed out of it because he's now gone really wide. He'd lifted off already. I'm not sure why. Not unless he's now conserving fuel to go again because he's not had a good run through 1 and 2 and 3. So let's see, because Matey Boy's just ahead of him. We'll see what Matey Boy's on.
Yeah, that's who I'm with at the moment.
Ginge as well, but Ginger's on an out lap. And I know it's Ginge because the other Aston Martin's crashed. And no, Matey Boy seems to have just pulled out of this lap too.
Yeah. Martin Jack Slater, who is just...
As Cameron Porter's just at the fastest lap, but a 107.4, which is 3 tenths faster than his nearest rival. So that's a really good time that is there.
And I'm just on board with Arman, who goes up to P4.
Nice.
So now I'll go back
to who's slightly slower through sector 1.
I'm gonna go back with Clay because we got 2 minutes left of the session, and Clay's already up 2 tenths.
Yeah, I think he had plenty of fuel on, which means he must have got a better run through turns 1, 2 and 3, because that was, he seemed to hesitate a little through 1 on his last run, and that may have been why he backed out of the lap, unless of course he was just fuel burning.
Yeah.
But sometimes, as I said, I do it myself, and maybe that's what he was doing. And Jack Slater is not improving at this point, although it does appear he's still got plenty of fuel on, but he isn't going to have the ERS for it. He's down to about 10% now.
And Clay is just under 2.5 tenths down. Down? Up.
Yeah, and he's coming around the last into the DRS zone there. He needs about half a second.
Oh.
108.1. He's just scraped in P15, and now he's been dropped out by whoever that was. It's just crossed the line.
That would be Matey Boy.
Matey Boy, yeah.
And I'm now on board with Jack Slater.
I think it was Matey Boy.
Yeah, I think it was.
I'm not sure who it was. It was whoever was behind him, but...
Yeah, it is one of the Haas.
Yeah,
Arman was already P4, it is Matey Boy.
Yeah. Cameron Porter's just retired in the pit, so obviously he's happy with his time, and Cammy's also done that too, so Clay's invalidated, and there's 15 seconds left of the session, so I don't think he's going to get a back round for another go. This is going to be really close. Jack
Slater's not having another go.
I don't think he's going to get to the line in time.
No.
No, he's not, so he's pitting. So that's Clay's definitely out there. Mayspin and Ronosaurus both crashed. Jack Slater's just hit the pits, and Joseph is in the pits, so that is the guys we're losing then. And it was only 8 thousandths between Sociopath and Clay, so it was really, really close on who was going to get dropped there. So, who have we still got out there? Scott, who is 2/10 up on his previous time, and that is a lovely helicopter view as well.
Yeah.
He crosses the line, and just over
107.777.
Yeah. Yeah, that was exactly the same view as I had of him. And I think that's it. So, unless we're still waiting for Matey Boy, which says he's in the pit. Yeah, I think he's just going into his pit garage. Yeah, right down the far end we can just see his car being wheeled into his pit garage, so we're just waiting on that. This is really close between some of these guys in the high 107s. I mean, look at that between Sky and Ginge, 1,000. A 107.701 and a 107.702.
As I've got to quickly get the screen grab.
So we're losing Joseph, Rhinosaurus, Jack Slater, Mayspin, and Clay. It's really unusual to say that we're losing Clay in Q1. And considering that Kieran and J-Doy were both at one point or another in P5, they've ended up in P10 and 12. Teabag says, not fussed if the rest is dry, just Q2, that's all, because obviously he's interested in tyres. And I'm not sure who that is. What happened? I stayed in the other lobby. I don't know who that is. And then the CDR Racing League one, which Kieran then says was him, by the way, said that lap came from nowhere, and I did a burn of fuel. He did a lap burning fuel, so obviously, as I said, some people will do fuel burner laps to just get rid of a little bit more fuel, because unlike some tracks where you can go out with 2.6, 2.7 laps of fuel, around here your bare minimum you can take out is 3.6. So
I think this is where it's going to rain.
Well, a lot of cars have jumped out on softs and mediums here, but yeah, I can see what you mean. The sky looks a little on the dark side.
Yeah, as Colby, as per usual, is the first car out.
That's no surprise. Colby likes to get out there early. I'm actually on board with Matthias at the minute, who's on a set of softs.
So is Colby.
As I was saying, this is one of those tracks where I go out and do a burner lap, just purely because the amount of fuel you have to take out is too much to do just one lap and then a flying lap. It'll cost you probably 2 or 3 tenths just in extra fuel weight.
Yeah.
So you're better off just burning some fuel off on one lap and then going for one flying lap when you've got the most amount of ERS you can. Because again, ERS will run down, and by the end of your second lap, you'll be struggling for ERS. As we saw Jack Slater doing that last session, he'd done 2 laps, and by the time he was just entering the start-finish straight DRS zone, he was down to about 9 or 10%, which is apparently, that is actually where you start to lose performance. Originally, I've been told it was around 20.
Yeah.
But more recently, I've been told that that was incorrect, and it's now 10.
As Colby puts a 16.7 in the first sector.
I'll let you know what Matthias does in a second, because he's just coming down to it now. And that is a 16.790. So I think that's going to be pretty close between those two. Oh, I had a lift off there.
As I just wait for Colby to get a 51.2 in the middle sector, so now we're just going to wait for him to get to the line.
Yeah, I'll let you know what Matthias's is. And it's a 51.246. That's going to be really close.
107.81 for Colby.
And Matthias is just coming up to the line now and goes a 107.843. I said it was going to be really close between those two because of the sector time.
Oh, Kieran's setting a time on mediums.
Yeah, some of the medium runners so far are the 108 4s, 7s and 8s there, so there's a bit of a gap between those. Schnitzy comes in with a 108 144, and I think that was Aiden who's just slipped in there on the mediums with a 108 567, and Cammy with a 108 601.
As J-Dye comes in with a 107.2.
That is a very good time. I think that's actually faster than we had in Quali 1 as well for Cameron Poulton. I think.
I'll just have... Oh, Kieran's had enough.
Kieran's off. And that was the exit of 2. That was a pretty big off for the exit of 2.
It is faster than Cameron.
Yeah, I thought so. I
by 2/10.
Sure, but I thought so.
Here we go.
Someone's going to come out towards the end of Q2, says Cameron in the comment.
Ooh.
So that's Warrior Huntsman out of the way there as Kieran comes through.
Now I'm just on board with Sky Eye, who posts a 69 in the first sector.
I think that's a couple of tenths down on the the two soft runners at the front.
Yeah.
As I've just seen Ginge invalidate his outlap. I was just going to sit on with him, but he's actually in the middle of sector 2, so there's not much point. As Sociopath has just gone purple in the middle sector.
As Sky puts a 51.7 in the second sector.
And Sociopath just done a 108.4. That's P6. I thought he was going to be a little faster than that, to be honest.
A Sky does a 108.4.
Exactly the same time as Scott is put in as well. You totally don't have socially distance anymore, can't you?
It's a 17.004 from Ginge or Stephen.
That is
however you want to call him.
Slower than the soft runners, but you'd expect that on a set of mediums, so I would expect him to be a little bit closer to the times that the soft runners were making, because over the course of a lap there's probably 3 or 4 tenths drop. That's about 3 tenths in the first sector compared to some of the front runners on the softs.
Yeah. So we've got a couple comments coming through.
What J-Doy's was. J-Doy says, come on.
Hell of a lap there, J-Doy.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a brilliant lap.
As Ginge is about to come up to the line, it's around about 108.8.
Yeah, 108.833, which is a little faster than Arman, but he's only just safe on that time.
And here comes Cameron.
I'm going to say, here comes Cameron. I would expect to be faster. So I fully expect that Ginge is going to have to go again. And you see, some of these medium runners won't be happy with the times that they've set on the mediums, with all those soft runners ahead of them. So they may switch onto the softs. And as I say that, actually, Scott's already done it. As has Aiden and Cammy.
Cameron's aborted his lap straight after turn 2.
As Cammy's just invalidated at turn 2. And Aiden is about to start a lap, so I'm just going to stay on with Aiden. He'll be confused now because he's in an Alfa Romeo. He's used to driving a Red Bull. So his car's,
and we've got Ginge just behind him.
Might be close enough for a bit of toe there. So,
but Ginge has no ERS whatsoever.
Yeah, that was probably his second lap, and that's exactly what I was saying about how you run out of ERS if you try and do 2 laps.
Aiden takes a really weird line.
That's exactly what I was on about. That was a really bizarre line. He cut right across onto the pit exit and hugged the left-hand wall.
Yeah.
Whereas me personally, I stay out on the right because you come out wide, you stay wide, and then you go wide into turn 4.
Let's see how much It helps Aiden.
The first sector, to be fair, it was just an odd line.
I believe Ginge is going to come in this lap, so I'm just going to pop on with Aiden.
So I'm still on with Aiden. So he's almost 3/10 up now, sector 2. 3/10.
He likes short shifting.
He does.
Oh, cut too much out the pit lane.
And that would have been an 8-2 as well, which would have been P5.
As Matthias invalidates after turn 4.
And that's really not what he wanted either now, because he's going to have absolutely battered that set of soft tyres.
And here's Kieran.
Yeah, Kieran needs to find something here. Because that 108.9 is just not good enough.
No, he needs a roundabout. I'd say the 106, 7. 108.5 will do nicely, Kieran.
Which is strange that the cut-off time is going to be slower than it was in Quali 1.
That's because in Q1 everybody was on soft.
Yeah, but now almost everyone is out on soft. There's only 2 that aren't, which is Ginge, who is in the drop zone anyway, so he's got to come back out, and he'll probably come out on a set of softs like Aiden did, and Cameron Poulter. But to be honest, Cameron's time is probably going to be safe as it stands.
As I'm just following Kieran into the start-finish straight. And it's a 107.7.
P1, P2 for McLaren then?
Not too shabby.
No, not at all.
I'm just watching Cameron Poulter as he gets very close to the back of Sociopath.
And he's still on mediums as well.
And into the pits. So I'm just going to do a lap of Brazil with Sociopath.
Yeah,
so
I'm just doing the same. There's not many other people out on track.
Sit back and relax.
And this is one of my Williams teammates, so. There was a slight improvement through sector 1 as well. Only just to keep planted there. An early shift there as well, trying to keep the traction. And purple's the middle sector is just over a 10th up. Oh, that's a bit of a wobble out the last turn though.
Jack Slater just said go Socio.
Yeah, that's the other Williams driver who we lost in Q1.
And it's a 108.2.
That's good enough for P8.
So now I'm going to go on to onboard. Oh, nice one. Jeez. Sky and Scott as well.
Yeah, Sky and Scott and Sociopath and Armin are identical.
I think that's the first time I've seen 2 times identical at the same time.
Yeah, which would be really, really unlucky for Armin if there was to be 2 people go faster.
Yeah.
Because then it would push Armin out as one does. Matey, where I think it's just popped in there with a P7. So if Armin was to lose out here, but Sociopath didn't on identical times, that would be really, really unlucky. So who have we got? I mean, we've got Cameron Poulter who's on an out lap and off track in the middle of sector 2, just waiting.
Scott 7 tenths up.
Yeah, which is he's going to do exactly what I said. It's going to push Armin out and leave Sociopath in on identical times. Bear in mind, this is the only run.
Up to P2 for Scott.
As now Sociopath also drops because Ginger's just gone faster as well.
Well, we still have just under 2 minutes.
Yeah, Sociopath's back on a lap now and he's already a tenth faster through Sector 1.
I'm gonna go see how Aiden's doing. Ah, he's waiting at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, I think he's just getting out of people's way.
Yeah.
So he can get some fresh air. So he can go for a good lap without anyone in his way. So that's now Snitsy dropped as well. So we are actually, the cut-off right now was around a 108.
Ooh.
So people are starting to fly out on those softs now and putting in really good times. Sociopath's now almost a tenth and a half up. It's going to be really close. I don't think it's going to be quite enough though.
Yeah, Aiden didn't do his weird line.
He finds about another tenth and a half, 2 tenths through the final sector and goes with a 107.855, which is now P8.
Boy, a Huntsman and Matey Boy aren't really socially distancing. Neither is Cammy and Huntsman.
It's going to be so close. I mean, I expect Aiden and Cameron to jump into the top 10 as Cameron Porter does a 107.177.
Colin, what do you think pole time's going to be?
At this rate, we could see people pushing into the high sixes here. Like, this is crazy how close we are to hitting a 106.
As Aiden sets a 107.666.
Which Armand's out, but it has now once again put Sociopath back in the drop zone alongside Cammy, Warrior Huntsman, Mate Boy and Snitsy.
Huntsman is on a lap.
Just over a tenth up on his time there. And there's a little bit of a wobble coming out of there, that won't help at all. And he couldn't get flat through there, he really wants to be flat. Takes a nice tight line there. Don't want to cut too much.
There we go.
And there's P7.
As Sociopath and Matthias are in the pits, so that is our drop zone.
That is, yep, so we're losing Matthias, Sociopath, Cammy, Matey Boy and Snitsy. And the cutoff was very, very close to where Kulpi is, a 107.780. Just 1 second, I'm just going to have to mute the mic.
Yeah, no worries. So, as Colin said, that is our drop zone for Q2. Some very impressive times, especially from Cameron and Jedi, posting the low 107s.
Right, sorry, I'm back. I just had to say goodnight to my eldest. So we did have some comments. So Cammy says his engineer says raining just over 10 minutes, so it's probably going to come in Q3. Kieran says McLaren go charging on, and Baby Dan get your own social distancing jokes. To be fair, I did the social distancing joke first before Dan, so Dan just copied me. But I copied you, so shh. And Cameron Porter says the T2 guys are actually setting faster times than the Tier 1 guys.
Ooh!
That's quite interesting.
Yeah, it does look a little bit grey out there.
To be fair, it looks a little bit grey out there on the start of Quali 2 as well. So. But everyone is on the soft compound tyre, so it's not rained yet. So if they all rush out really quickly now, they might get in a soft time before the need inters. But so far, nobody's coming out. As I say that, looks like Warrior's coming out. This is a Ferrari.
Yeah.
And Mercedes.
J-Doy's coming out.
And J-Doy's coming out. And Cameron's coming out as well. So Sky and Coolpy. So I don't think we actually have many people left in the pit lane. Or in the pit garage rather, which is Aiden's in the pit garage, it's just coming out. Kieran's still in there. And Ginger's still in there. As both of those two are now coming out, so everybody is now out on track. Which I'm not surprised, because as we said before, we are looking at having some rain very shortly, judging by the comments these guys have been letting us know, well, especially Cammy. So I'm just on board with Warrior as he comes out. What we would call the last turn, but I don't think the racetrack actually calls it the last turn.
I'm not sure.
I don't think it does. I think it counts that bend just as the DRS zone starts as the last turn.
Oh, did I see a couple of raindrops?
Yes, I think we did. It's either that or it's just reflections on the front of the Ferrari, because I can see a couple of reflections on it. Because I'm actually riding on board with Warrior on this lap. There's some glaring him in the face there as well, that'll help. And there's a couple of raindrops, I can just see them now in the middle of sector 2. So these guys want to be quick, because when we were at Imola on Sunday, we had rain.
Oh, don't. That track gave me PTSD.
How do you think it made me feel? But the rain started around turn 7, and by the time we got to about turn 12, the track was soaked. So we just don't know how quick this rain may or may not come out. And the last thing you want to do is put too much there, Warrior.
That's a 107.5.
J-Doyle
So
will be coming across next.
A 107.5.
Yeah, 4 thousandths faster. Sky and Coolpy have come through. Cameron's through.
Oh, Kieran's lost it.
And that's just entering what we'd call the last turn as well.
Was that a reset to track?
To be fair, I don't think so. It does look like it, but if you go too far off track in that particular point, it will throw you back on track.
Aiden's going into the pits. So I think he's sinking inters.
Interesting. Yeah, but the inters aren't going to get anywhere near the times that these guys are set. To be honest with you, I think it will be close between the inters and the time Kieran's just put in, having launched off the track. So, but as I said, I don't think that was track reset, personally, because I've been off there before. In fact, I've been doing an in-lap and cut too much of that particular section of
grass. Oh, Kieran, don't cut there!
The grass. And it reset me back to track, so that, I think, was the game, not actually Kieran himself. To be fair, Kieran's not usually one to do that either, so J-Doy's out for a second lap, and to be fair to him, although he's just invalidated turn 2, but I think he's on his in-lap now, it is raining, but it doesn't look like the track's that wet. So it is coming down a lot slower than it did at Imola at the weekend.
Like I said, that track gave me PTSD.
Again, how do you think I felt? I think that gave me more than PTSD, that place.
And I think that is qualifying done.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's qualifying over. I mean, to be fair, maybe Kieran and Aiden will go again, but besides that, I don't think so. It comes to it last week. It did the same thing last week. At Imola, the guys were out, they got a lap in, and then that was it. And it ended up being that we said to everyone, like, just retire. And we ended up waiting for Coolpy because he'd gone wandering off, as J-Doy's now facing the wrong way too. But, you know, it was just, there was no point because nobody was going to go out again, so they all just retired. As Warrior Huntsman's retired, he's obviously happy with his P2 there because the rain's ruined qualifying again.
As Jado's the only man on the track, but he is coming into the pit lane.
Yeah, I don't know whether Kieran or Aidan will want to go again and argue over who's going to get P8 and P9, because we don't have 10 drivers for this.
No. And that is qualifying over and done with.
Yep. Inside about 6 minutes. Sky Eye says me and Scotty are inseparable. He's got a point, they've got identical times again. I hadn't even spotted that time, Sky. We were so interested in the rain.
Boys, come on. Really? Again?
I think you need to have a word with these two, Kieran. They're getting way too close to each other.
As Kieran's coming back out on track.
Kieran is going back out on track on a set of softs.
Oh.
Considering his teammate was just doing pirouettes, I'm not entirely sure that was a smart decision. As Aidan has actually applied the inters.
Yeah.
But he hasn't actually set a time, so maybe he's thinking, can I pick Kieran to P8? But then, which side of the track would be the best to start on is the other question. Scott says, the two Scots are unbearable. I thought he would have gone with inseparable, but he says unbearable. He's right, he is unbearable. Yep, he just said ignore the unbearable, also predicament, inseparable. Yeah, but you're not just inseparable, you're also unbearable. You were right the first time. And Cammy says get a room, you two.
Oh, Jesus.
So Aidan is now out on track on a second.
As Kieran is just coming through the last corner.
Scott says me and Sky to cross the line at the same time. Well, the way the day's going, I think that's quite a possibility. Actually, I'll tell you something. Did you catch the stream for our race at Imra?
No.
You know, we were quite happy that we'd cleared 100 comments.
Yeah.
The Sunday race had cleared 100 before the end of Q3. By the end of the race, they'd exceeded 200 comments on that race.
Oh, Jesus. Fair play.
They take our record, but they blew it away.
They doubled it.
Yeah. As Aidan is now starting his first lap on inters. So I'm just sitting on board with him for this, because, you know, there's not a lot else going on. Everyone but the two Scots have decided that
as Jado's now on an out lap too.
Yeah, Jado is on an out lap. Yeah, apart from Scott and Sky there.
Yeah, Kieran's 4 seconds off pace.
I'm not surprised at all. Is that off his own pace as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which means that's around about a 119, 120 he's looking at there then. And he's coming back in the pits, of course, so... I mean, it's difficult to gauge where Aidan's time's going to be, because...
He hasn't set a time yet.
He hasn't set a time yet, so there's no delta difference for his sector times. So I just don't know where he's going to end up on the board here. I mean,
he's not using... He's not using ERS.
No, this may just be a fuel burner lap. But I'm going to say he should start using ERS. He should have turned that on a little bit earlier than he did. But to be fair, without ERS, he's on a 17.2. I think he can actually beat Kieran on these inters if he can have a decent lap.
DRS disabled, no.
Now disabled, so that is definitely inters weather. That may explain why Kieran went out on softs, because the DRS hadn't been disabled.
Yeah.
Which is now not going to make things any easier for Aidan, especially trying to make the time up. He's now got ERS, but now he's lost DRS. That was a really good line through there. That corner can be a bit difficult as well.
Oh, misses the apex.
Completely misses the apex.
He's 3/10 up.
Yeah. It's not going to be enough, but especially with the loss of DRS as well. I don't think he's going to be any faster than Kieran's time. No, he's approaching 15 now. He improves by 3.5 tenths to a 6.
He's got to find a second.
I think that's it. Yeah, he's still got to find over a second there, 1.1.
Yeah, Aiden's done.
No DRS, so this ain't happening. Just everybody retire, to hell with it. And he's doing this weird line again, look. Although he does appear to be having a little weave around. Yeah, it's just how we're shifting. So in the comments, Scott says, need to get both our laps side by side on a replay. Actually, I think you need to do that not just once, but twice for both sets of laps. Because that's crazy, the fact that not only did they do it in Q2, but they did it in Q3 as well, identical times. Once on the mediums and once on the softs. That's really impressive.
Quite impressive.
I mean, we don't see it all that often.
There we go, Aiden's in low fuel mode.
Now he's in low fuel mode, yeah. So, hopefully he'll do the smart thing.
Go on, Aiden! Burn up your tyres!
These tyres are irrelevant, don't go into the pits.
Please do. Oh, he tried! He tried, bless him!
Just time wasting. Is that George Russell's helmet he's wearing? It does look like it's got a 63 on it, I think. So that's our top 10 then, 9, sorry. We've got J-Doy on pole with Warrior Huntsman on the front row with him, split by 4 thousandths of a second. Then you've got Scott and Sky on identical times with a 107.7 flat.
Yeah, nah, that's just...
Cameron
no.
Coulter in P5, Kulki in P6, Ginge in P7, Kieran in P8, and Aiden in P9. So, on to the race then.
Yeah. Oh, what a strange Q3.
So, Cameron's just said, as long as I don't have 2 drive-throughs by the end of lap 1 this week, I'll be happy. He's got a fair point. I think Imola gives him PTSD as much as it does us too. And Kieran says, that's a savage lap from J-Doy. Yep, I absolutely agree. It's an absolutely brilliant lap there from J-Doy. So, all we're going to wait for now is everybody to be ready, and we will get the formation lap underway. As I yawned in the middle of a sentence, which was of course always helpful. So we have our countdown and we are at 20 seconds now.
Oh.
At least the lobby's behaving. Sometimes we can be waiting forever for this bit.
Oh, trust me.
No doubt our comments will significantly reduce now because most of the comments have been from the drivers, so we're going to be very distracted driving.
Oh,
so,
2-stop.
Soft, medium, or soft, hard. I can't see 2 softs and then hard. I can see medium. So 11, 15 and 23, 27. Personally, I'd probably go soft, medium, soft. Not soft, medium. You know, so you got more pace when you've got less fuel at the end of the race. As opposed to the mediums that obviously are not going to be as fast. So we've got 4 cars starting on the mediums. That being Jack Slater, Clay, Snitsy, and Matey Boy. So everybody in the top 13 drivers are all on softs.
Ooh.
So
We've only got
itself,
4 medium runners.
I did literally just say that, and I
leave me be, right?
Only you, Dan. Only you.
Yeah.
So, as I was going to say before you interrupted me with information I'd already gave, these top 13 all being on the same tyres. The only difference being that P11, 12 and 13 are on fresh tyres, and the 10 ahead of them are all on used qualifying tyres. That it's going to be down to how each driver gets off the line here as to whether you can get a jump on the man next to you. So this should be quite interesting. I'll let you watch it from the front. I'm going to sit on with Joseph at the back.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with I think Sky would be a good point of view.
I'm actually going to ride on board with
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Well. Yeah. You should get a good look at the way Scott, Warrior and J-Doyle get off the line as well.
5 red lights! And we're off!
Yeah.
Oh, Sky just got a mountain of a start.
That's exactly what I was talking about. A good start can be the difference. There's a little bit of contact there between Snitsy and Jack Slater.
As he just loses out to Cameron.
Not sure what caused that contact, but we've also got Ronosaurus and Matey Boy a little bit behind everyone now.
Everybody's going to be a little bit higgledy-piggledy for the first couple of laps. Yeah, so I'm just gonna let them do as they please.
So,
Ginge is getting close.
Almond's up 3 places. Clay's now up 3 places. No, 2. He's just lost one of them again. Joseph's made 3 places. But like I said, I think that was, there was a little bit of an incident at the back.
Yeah, Ginge is sticking. Oh, someone's off. That's Aiden.
He just dropped 2 places there, so he must have had a bit of a wobble there, maybe out of the last turn.
And there's what?
Now he's gonna
some very nice clean racing from the first lap.
So another pit stop strategy here then. Soft hard 13-15, and I didn't see what the soft.
I got 12-15, and then 10-15, 21-25.
Yeah, that's basically the same as what it was just showing me. But like I said before, I don't see people are going to go soft, medium. I would probably go soft, medium, soft. Just so you've got more speed towards the end of the race. As
Clays picks up his first penalty, and the first penalty out of our drivers.
Oh, that was a little bit close, Aiden, there on the back of Sociopath. He had to weave away because he almost put his nose into the back of Sociopath's car.
That's what I had to do in Season 2 in Bahrain. I will send you the clip of that later.
Ooh, J-Doy went past his lap and then Warrior went just slightly faster. DRS is now enabled, so these guys will have DRS on the front. But of course there will be a DRS train. For, P2 all the way down to P12.
Oh. And give me 2 secs, I'm just going to whack a hoodie on. I'm freezing.
No problem. Right, we'll have 2 DRS trains, because behind Mayspin there's another 4 drivers that are going to have DRS. And 2 more behind Matey Boy, so there's literally 3 drivers without DRS at this point. So everyone's just trying to attack each other as J-Doy's actually got a bit of ground there on Warrior Huntsman. He's now got to try and make that back before the detection zone, which he does. So he will have DRS there. J-Doy does the fastest lap with a 1:10.2. Warrior Huntsman is not letting him get away. Both of them are running fairly low on ERS there. Whereas Cameron in third has got about 60%, Sky's got about 70%, and Scott has got about 80% behind him. So these two front runners are very short of ERS at this point. That was a bit deep there from Cameron, that won't have helped him.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, I wouldn't have wasted DRS there.
Sky and Cameron are going off of it.
As Joseph's out.
Oh!
Yep, you know where Rhinosaurus dropped it earlier?
Yeah.
I can't remember which turn it was. Yeah, he's done the same thing, straight into the wall, and it's a VSC. I really must work out what turn that is, because I don't like it myself. Nine, I think.
Sociopath's out too.
Yeah, but Cammy just picked a penalty for collision with Sociopath. What? Sociopath's on the side of the track? That's a strange place to be out.
What? Is that him on the straight?
That's him on the straight, yeah.
As Joseph leaves too. Alright, he's DNF'd.
Joseph's out, yeah, it's not a problem. That is an odd place to have lost it. Let's see if I can find out what happened on that one.
As now we've got a full safety car.
So Sociopath has actually said that was his first retirement.
Ooh. Was Cameron's in the pitch?
So... Ah, right. Okay. So...
Cammy put Sociopath out.
Yeah, in the Williams drivers chat, obviously which I'm in because I am one of the Williams drivers. Sociopath has just said it's his first retirement experience in CDR, and he believes Cammy brake tested him under VSC.
Ooh.
So that would be unfortunate, but obviously that's not something we can involve ourselves in. I'm sure he'll report that later on if he feels that he was impeded in any way and it cost him his race. So I'm just repeating what was said.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately there's not a lot else we can talk about at this moment either, because safety car.
Mm-hmm.
Which was a VSC, then it turned full safety car because of what had happened between Cammy and Sociopath, which Cammy did pick up a 5-second penalty for.
Yeah, guess what?
I did see it. So, what?
This is the halfway point of our season.
It is?
Yeah, and not a bad track to go midway.
Can't be any worse than last week. Just having a look how things are going in the tier 1 whilst we've not got a lot going on.
Oh. Nice little bit of chalky. Get me going.
So, in the tier 1s, they are 4 laps in, so they're a little bit behind us. And Stephen, Elite Hound, has been racing. And he was also first out.
Ah!
I was just trying to figure out where my teammates were for tier 1, but I think there might be reserves. Yeah, I think there is. I think one of them is P4 currently, which is a reserve, and I'm not sure about the other one. Maybe P9 is a reserve. I'm just thinking of, don't mind me, what safety cars are. I was just seeing how we were
not a
doing
problem.
Just thinking about, you know, team points and stuff, so.
Safety cars in this lap, so.
Great time for me to have finished what I was doing then, if the safety car's coming in, and I am actually on board with J-Boy, but I'm going to drop further back. I'm actually going to sit on with Jack Slater, who's right at the back here, and just see if we get a nice clean getaway from this. As Cammy picks up a 5-second penalty for a collision with Clay. Well, that was strange. It's alright. That was close there. I was just on board with Clay, and he'd actually overtaken Cammy before the start-finish line, but then he dropped back and let Cammy retake the position before the start-finish line, so... It looked like everyone was just sort of concertinaed. It didn't really appear that there was any real order to that.
Sky and Scott are still going at it, but no copies on their tail. Now there's Schnitzy going down the line.
He's wide on the exit of 4. And Aiden and Matey Boy have both just dropped out.
And there's Kieran as well.
And Kieran's
for good
measure.
measure. For good measure.
So I don't know what just happened there, but it looks like Matey Boy's hit the wall and bounced off, and ended up on the opposite side of the track because he's facing away from the left-hand wall on the right-hand side of the track. And I don't know what happened with Aiden. I just saw Kieran was mixed up in that and has lost an end plate.
Safety car again.
We have. I'm not surprised, honestly. I know we've just got from under safety car, but there's now 2 cars between turns 4 and 5. So I'm honestly not surprised. But this is actually playing out quite well for Clay at the moment, who's now up to P3.
And Cameron Porter picks up 5 seconds, and that is Colby into P2.
I mean, yes, Clay's got to make a stop yet, but he's in P3 from near the back of the grid, because he dropped in Q1, as Kieran's just taken a fresh wing and a fresh set of softs. So, yes, he's still got a stop, and he has got a penalty still. But I think that's still quite impressive from Clay to be up there, and he can probably put another 8, 10, 12 laps on those tyres, depending on, you know, his tyre pressures and his wear pattern and stuff like that. He can probably get a fair amount of laps still out of those tyres. So, J-Doy and Corby will probably come in the next handful of laps, and it will promote him to the lead. Temporarily. So now we're just playing wait up for Kieran.
Yeah, and as
the safety car currently about on the start finish straight.
Yeah, just coming on to it.
Yeah, Kieran's just in sector 2 now. He's just coming onto the back of Cammy, who's that's. So if I worked it out right, he's going round turn 9. That's if I worked it out right. The same place as Joseph binned his car on the 2nd or 3rd lap or whatever it was.
As J-Doy slips into the pits.
I'm surprised he didn't pit earlier. Not unless the safety car came out after he passed the start-finish line. I don't know why. I was trying to say 2 different words and it come out with the wrong word. As Matthias has jumped onto the hard tyres.
Ooh.
That's
26 laps.
I'm not a fan of the hard tyres at all, ever. And I'm definitely not a fan of them around here. I can't make them work for me around this track. Maybe he's just thinking about playing the long game. But will he have the pace on him to make anything actually happen from P12? As everyone's bunched back up now, because Kieran's just came back onto it.
We're just waiting for Cameron.
And then I'd be not overly surprised to see J-Doy letting Kieran past, either being teammates, because Kieran's on the soft tyres. He's obviously going to be faster. As Cameron Porter's just joining the pack, I didn't realise we had one more. But either way, the safety car should be in this timeout.
Yeah, Colby's backing everybody up ready. Nope, yep, never mind.
There was no reason it shouldn't be, because Cameron was on the back of the pack. As Cameron seems to have stopped. What's he doing? Oh, he's just... looks like he's trying to warm his tyres, but he's dropped right off the back of the pack.
And away we go!
And he's now facing the wrong way.
Oh!
Curb on the inside of 4.
Oh, that was...
Sit on the
oh, Clay's rear tyre slightly slipping.
Matthias is just losing places on those hard tyres.
So we have got a couple of comments coming through, Carl.
Yeah, I can...
Unless you want me to quickly...
No, I'm looking at it.
No worries.
Aiden says that it's a joke. Matey boy spun out, hit the wall, bounced into the air, and took Aiden with him.
Oh!
And then he also put a laughing face. And then Matey boy says, hope you got video, don't know how I flew into the wall. Well, judging by which wall it was, I would say you clipped a curb and went left. That must be Kieran's lady friend, Holly, who says, in a shortened version, come on Kieran.
Good evening, Holly.
Aiden says, yeah, but I don't really think it's report worthy.
Pop it into the reports page, and we'll...
It's entirely up to you guys. Stewards can sort it out later. We've got the race commentate. As Ginger's overtaken Clay there.
Yeah. And I
looks like
just
he went
caught it.
around the outside of 4, maybe. Oh,
yes.
Mason squeezes through on the inside of... is that 6? Oh, that Clay getting put very close to the back of Mayspin there. His Almond just put a move on Jack Slater as well.
As Mayspin takes Clay.
Mayspin had already passed Clay.
Ah.
DRS is now enabled. Yeah, Mayspin got up the inside of turn 6, I think.
Oh!
Just ran onto the dirt on the entrance to 1. And that was contact there. I think that might have been Cameron Porter.
Someone left the magic on.
Contact, between himself and Jack Slater that caused Jack Slater to spin around there. So I'm guessing there may be a report about that later on too.
Oh, looks like this is going to be a fun stewards meeting tomorrow night.
Yeah, unfortunately, stewards, it looks like it's going to be a very, very busy one.
Oh, it's all good. We don't mind a busy one.
Well, that's what the stewards are there for. Oh, Cameron Poulter has a little bit of a tail bobble there, and he almost lost the back end completely. As he's trying to chase down J-Doy ahead of him.
Let's have a look how Kieran's doing.
Oh, and he's just gone really wide. So at the front we've got Coolpy, and then we've actually got the 2 Astons and then the 2 Ferraris. Rhinosaurus was facing the wrong way just then as well. He span out just as I started that sentence, so... Looks like he picked up too much of the curb on the last turn. Or like I say, what we'd call the last turn. I don't know if it's what the track calls the last turn.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm going to actually have a quick look at that because it's bugging me. Not only that, but I want to know which that other turn is. I think it's turn 9.
As Kieran is trying to get to the back of Arman. Just slipping inside 2/10.
And Sky goes fastest lap with a 109.810, and Cameron Porter picks up another penalty too. Again, track limits. Yes, I was right, it is turn 9.
Right, I'll just quickly have a look at the penalties actually. We got Clay on 11, Cameron on 6, Ronan on 3, and Cammy on 13.
Okay, so what we would call the last turn, which is where Rhinosaurus is now.
Yeah.
That is turn 12.
I'm guessing the next one is 13.
This is 14 that he's going through now, just before the DRS zone.
Oh, Clay's gone for a double. Oh, so a little bit of side bashing.
In actual fact, we was completely ignoring 3 corners. Oh, as J-Doy puts a move on Clay there as well, I watched that. Oh, as Clay hits the wall. I'm not sure if there was contact there.
That's Scott! Scott's not got a front wing either!
No, J-Doy had squeezed up the inside and ran kind of wide on the exit, but never actually left the track, in the same way as Max did against Lewis in Brazil.
Yeah. How is that not a safety car?
He did actually stay on track, but I don't know if there was contact because I was actually on board, so I couldn't see behind him. All I saw as I looked back was Clay going sideways and into the left wall. So I'm not quite sure how that came about. Scott is really struggling without that front wing.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if Clay's watching, he might actually give us some idea of what actually happened just then. Like I said, I was on board with J-Doy when it happened, but obviously, because I was on board, I couldn't actually see behind him, so perhaps there was contact, I just couldn't see it, as Scott was trying to get in the pits, but appeared to completely miss the pit entrance.
As Warrior Huntsman overtakes Masebint on the inside.
So Aiden and Matey Boy still having a bit of a conversation there, as Scott has jumped onto the mediums. Now, is he thinking long stint on mediums here? Because that would be a very long stint on mediums. But they can go that far. Or at least in all practice they've been able to go that far. So unfortunately, the closest battle right now is Jack Slater on Schnitzy and Schnitzy on Cammy. And, oh, there's a couple of people on the back of Kieran as well.
Yeah.
There's a fight for P3, 2, 3 and 4 as well, but they're all in a bit of a DRS range, so nothing's really happening. Whereas this one with Jack Slater and Schnitzy hasn't got DRS and Jack Slater has, so it should drag him a little closer to him. And he's on soft tyres, but he was also 11 laps on them, so...
Huntsman is getting agonisingly close to Stephen.
Jack has made the move on Schnitzy there, and he's ahead. Coming out of turn 4, he's ahead, so that's moved on there. But whether Schnitzy will come back on the main straight is to be seen. So Arman's over the back of Kieran at the minute.
Well, at the moment, everybody gets a point.
Yep. All you have to do is finish, and you're going to get at least a point. Unfortunately for Aiden, that's a bit of a disappointing start to his run in Tier 2. First race and ends up involved in something that sounds like it wasn't even his fault. It was just pure bad luck that another driver had lost it and he got taken with it.
Huntsman loves going round the outside.
Yep. So I'm just having a quick look at what actually happened with Matey Boy.
Mm-hmm.
He's posted it in the chat for the tier 2s. So
As Mayspin's going defensive into turn 1. Jedi sends it from the outside. And so does Cameron, actually. Going into turn 3.
oh wow. So it's really weird. From his perspective, there was a little contact involving Schnitzy, but that wasn't involved in what happened to him. He kind of took avoiding action. And then I don't even know what he did, but he ended up in the wall. He did it kind of on his own. And then you just see it actually launches poor Aiden. But he couldn't go anywhere or do anything. That's really unfortunate for Aiden as well, because he was doing alright, and you never like to DNF a race, especially your first one either. So... So let's see if anyone making any ground. I mean, Armin's still all over.
Jedi is right on the back of Ginge.
Yeah, who's then got Cameron Poulter right on the back of him, and it looks like...
Oh, Ginge squeezing!
Yeah, and I think he's through. He is. That is Jedi into P2. And
but now Ginge is going to have the DRS.
Yeah, but he's also got Cameron Poulter all over his gearbox, and he's also got no ERS and trying to go around the outside.
A little bit of contact.
And he loses out to Cameron Poulter as well. So that poor exit from 4 there has cost him the other place to Cameron Poulter, who was just sitting there waiting to pounce. Oh, Cameron's looking at J-Doy now. He thought about a move then. Go around the outside
Ginge,
of the 9.
His rears are slowly giving out. As Cameron just drifts wide.
Well, he just steps out, yeah. I think Ginge tried to pounce on that mistake as well, but just didn't quite have the momentum to do it. I mean, these tyres are only like 10 laps old, apart from Ginge, who's on 13, 14 on them now. They go through that little phase where they start to slip a bit and then they find grip again.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Maybe Cameron and J-Doy might be in that specific window, because it's usually between about like 8 and 10 they start to go, and then they come back 2 or 3 laps later, and then you're good for about another 8 or 10 laps on them. Normally, I mean, your times may not be up to what they were, but they sort of define grip.
Strange.
It's very strange. I find myself setting some of my fastest laps on mediums on about 18 lap old mediums. Like it's just crazy the way the grip comes back. So Kieran somehow managed to find his way up to P5, which means Mayspin's dropped a couple of places. Matthias is off track there, still struggling on those hards by the looks of it. Which just goes to prove exactly what we were saying when he put them on. Those hards are a nightmare. He looks like he's just struggling for grip constantly.
As Kieran's now in the pits.
So this will probably be for a set of mediums because of how far's left to go. 14 laps on mediums should be easy enough done. There they go, set of mediums going on is. And where is he going to come out? This is a long pit exit, a very long pit exit, because it'll release you there and then you got a chance to spin out. Aiden's just left the session. Thought he left earlier.
I just had a really weird...
So Kieran comes out.
Oh! Copy's the wrong way round.
Yeah, that's the exit of 4, entrance to 5. He's lucky he hasn't ended up in the wall there, because people normally end up in the wall when they lose it there.
Cameron is right on the back of J-Dog.
He's lost his right end plate, so Cookie is going to have to fit, as Kieran's lost it as well.
Oh, never.
Yeah,
Kieran's not having a good time.
8. Yeah, I think Kieran lost turn 8 there. It doesn't appear to have any obvious damage, so he could just get away with this. As Mayspin is now pitted as well. So is this going to be another set of mediums? No, it's not. He's going to try and take 13 laps on soft tyres.
Ooh. Like a little bit of risk.
Teabag says, seems McLaren are in for some decent points. Yes, but unfortunately that was probably prior to Kieran's pit stop, so I mean J-Doy's still going to pick up some good points from where he is, as Jack Slater pits for a set of softs as well, and Culpy's taking a front wing and a set of softs. So, but of course now Culpy is also dead last, and that's before he's even been released from his pit box. And Teabag also said the tyre wear since the major update is mad now. The setup is a major factor to use hards. Practice, I got them turned on quite quick. Yeah, I mean, it just honestly depends on whether you can get them to turn on for you or not, and how quickly you can get them to do it.
As Ginge is now in the pits.
I saw, Matthias was just struggling on them. Yeah, he's
and it's soft
as well. Cam is also in the pits as well.
J-Doy is hunting the Huntsman.
Yeah, and he's got a better run out of there, I think. He's closing.
So will the Huntsman be the hunted in the next couple of laps?
Yeah, Cammy's gone on to the softs as well. I'll tell you something though. The only person who hasn't yet taken a pit stop, by the looks of it, is Schnitzy, unless he stopped on lap 1, because he's got 23 laps.
I'll have a quick look.
His medium tyres. No,
Schnitzy is not.
He's the only person who hasn't pitted the entire race.
23 laps on a set of mediums.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, it's doable. This is showing a one-stop strategy, though.
Yeah.
Which is honestly something I'd considered for this myself. But I just don't know if it's going to be worth it. Because those tyres don't feel great once you get into this ballpark where he is now.
Oh.
As you see, look, Ginger's just flown past. Yeah, there you go, he's now pitting as well. Mayspin just goes in with the fastest lap there as well, and I didn't catch the time.
Neither did I. I'm focusing too much. I'm focusing on this JD and Huntsman battle.
Well, on the plus side for us is, or for our teams, is Teabag says Alpha Tauri are having a terrible weekend so far across tier 1 and 2. He didn't say terrible, but that's the word I'm using.
Yeah.
1095 was the fastest time there, set by Kulpi as well, who has got clean air ahead of him. So.
Huntsman's gone into the pits and J-Doy has followed. Ooh.
Anything you can do, I can do better. Now, is
that puts Cameron Porter into A.
Try and go for what Schnitzy was doing and 20 odd laps on those, because he's going to end up on about 26 laps if he pushes them to the end.
Could Matthias have pulled out the absolute strategy?
If he has, he's struggled to make it happen, but it does look like those tyres are switched on now. He seems to have a bit more grip on them.
16 lap old. So they'll be 26 laps old by the time this race finishes.
But that's nothing on a set of hards. That's kind of average. You could probably run the entire race on these tyres. You know, they're so hard wearing. We did have a message, go J-Doy go, as well at one point that I completely ignored because I was reading out tea bags.
Ronan in P2 as well, mind.
P3.
Ah.
Although Cameron has just pitted, so you'll be right in a second.
There you go, P2.
He has actually just overtaken his teammate. I'm expecting him. There he goes into P1 because he's going to overtake Cameron Poulter. But bearing in mind, I would say Rhinosaurus is going to pit shortly. Matthias won't, but it's how quickly those guys on the softs are going to be able to catch. So J-Doy's lost about a second to Warrior Huntsman here. Cameron was right on the back of J-Doy, but then Ginge came out of nowhere and stole that place away. He was within 2/10 and all of a sudden Ginge is there instead. Don't know how that happened, I completely missed it. But he's had his tyres on for a couple of laps, so he was just flying then, and he just squeezed his way through on possibly turn 4.
So far, Ronan is the person who has gained the most places.
I was about
18!
To say, yeah, I know, but Ronan is also going to have to pit and he's going to lose some ground in a minute. Whereas Huntsman is all over the back of Matthias just then, and he's just had to back off because he almost launched Matthias. But he does have DRS, as J-Doy sets fastest lap of 108.895, and is right behind Huntsman, who is losing ground to J-Doy because of being stuck behind Matthias on these hard tyres. He actually gave him a little bump as well.
Now is he going to go down the inside?
No, he's not close enough to make it happen, as J-Doy's now lost out to Ginge as well, and
Cameron!
So he lost 2 places in turn 4. This is really not working out for McLaren here. But what everyone would probably like is if the Ferrari was to crash. Just purely because Ferrari's so far ahead in the constructors that nobody can seem to catch them.
Oh, Warrior trying to stick it down the inside.
Oh. The thing is, they're much faster tyres, and right now Matthias is just
holding him up.
Yep.
As Cameron!
Cameron's just yeah, but he also took the corner and almost takes out Warrior Huntsman in the process. I don't even know what that was. That appeared like a slightly silly dive bomb. Oh, as Warrior Huntsman tries squeezing J-Doy a little there. As J-Doy...
As J-Doy! Down the inside! Nice to see you too, J-Doy.
Has a 5-second speeding in the pit lane penalty, so that's just proving the hards weren't really doing him any favours there.
As Huntsman on...
Is he really going to try and go 30 laps on a set of medium? Surely he's
as
not.
J-Doy loses out to Cameron again on lap 29. Everyone's just trying to be as cautious as possible.
So, Rhinosaurus has had a set of softs on his car for about 6 laps. And he's now on these mediums that he's had on for 23 laps. Is he honestly going to go to the end? I don't think so.
We'll find out in a minute.
I mean, if he did, that would be madness. 30 laps. Nah, surely he's got a pit. But he's not doing it yet. As Huntsman is in the pits. I'm just going to see if that's for a wing.
I believe it is. Yes, it is.
I mean, I know I was having a bit of a joke about, you know, crashing...
Taking drivers out!
No, I was on about, you know, the Ferrari crashing, not actually taking him out, you know, kind of just in the general sense of we'd all like an opportunity to catch up with Ferrari a little bit this season. But I'm not entirely sure what Cameron was doing when that occurred. So
Cameron's actually got 12 seconds of penalties.
I'm not surprised he picked up 3 seconds when he almost took out Huntsman and Matthias, I think it was. So it does mean that the chances are he's not going to finish where he is right now. So penalties. Brontosaurus has got 3, but I still think he's going to pit. Almond's in a good position with no penalties, as is Jadoy Mayspin with no penalties. As Warrior Huntsman's just picked up a 3-second penalty. Matthias is on 14 seconds, Cammy's on 11, and Cameron Porter's on 12. So, I mean, I did say it was a place where you're going to get a fair few penalties come up. Really good view of Jadoy and Mayspin having a little battle. So that is Mayspin past Jadoy. Although that's probably because he's missing an end plate.
What, Jadoy?
Yes, which I've just spotted.
Oh.
So he must have taken some damage in an incident earlier.
That must have been the Huntsman incident.
It could have been the Huntsman thing, yeah. Not that we're blaming Huntsman for that, because we're not. We're just saying that the incident which it also involved Huntsman.
Oh, Cameron! Ronan!
Yeah, he's taken the lead, but he's not going to hold on to it unless he can find a whole bunch of time.
Cameron's done 4 stops.
I think it's been every time a safety car's come out.
Yeah. Right, as it is lap 32, who's your driver of the day?
It's really difficult because I don't know how this is going to pan out at the end. Ooh. What are you thinking?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
No, it's so hard to decide because of... I mean, yes, Brontosaurus is up 17 places, but is he really going to go to the end on those tyres? I mean, maybe. He's only got a 3-second penalty. I mean, if he does, it'd be just madness, but he is still going on them.
They don't look to be giving him any trouble either.
No, they don't. No, this is exactly my point. And yeah, okay, he's slower than the guys around him, but they're on softs. I'd expect them to be faster, but he's defending.
Oh, yeah.
And his 3 seconds is only going to cost him 1 place because everybody else within that's got 3 seconds of their own. So he's only going to be...
4th?
In fact, no, he's not. No, he's not. No, he might have been P3, but because Cameron's got so many penalties, he gets re-promoted back to P2, and as it stands, Armin is the current leader.
Ooh. But Ginge is coming.
And Armin will be up 9 places. Brontosaurus will be up 17 if he can hold on to this. And as you say, Ginge is coming. But Ginge, again, like I said, Ginge's got a 3-second penalty of his own. And he's net P3 at the minute. I mean, Brontosaurus can still finish on the podium at this rate. He's just got to hold on to those tyres for a couple more laps. I can't actually believe I'm seeing somebody trying to put 30 laps on a set.
Yeah, I know. I'm stunned by it.
I know. I don't even know what to say. I mean, if
he's only 2/10 down on his time.
I know. I mean, if he can hold on here and go for a podium,
that deserves it.
Hold on to a podium. That has to deserve it. 30 laps on mediums, and picked up 17 places, and got a podium out of it.
Come on, Ronan.
I just have no words for it.
And he is actually gapping Ginge a little bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, Ginger's going to have the DRS on him here, and he really hasn't got a whole lot of DRS to defend that with. If down to about 12%, but there you go.
Make it 6.
Sneaking up his inside,
but
so.
he has got the DRS coming out of turn 3.
Yeah. So I mean, he's good.
30 laps.
Unless he does something. Really
Oh! Ronan!
No, he's still safe. Just, and I do mean just, because there is very, very little gap between him and Mayspin with the extra.
Ronan's on 6 seconds of penalties.
Yeah, but Mayspin's on 3 of his own, so he needs to gap Mayspin by 3 seconds. But, I mean, even if he doesn't, he'll come really close to a podium, and he's still picked up a whole bunch of places.
Yeah, 30 laps on the medium tyres as well.
Yeah.
Jesus, lad. Someone's had their Weetabix this morning.
That's madness. Let's look at these penalties. So, we won't lose that to J-Doy or Kieran because they're too far back. He is going to lose that to Mayspin. But
Sky's out!
And Cammy.
Ooh!
So to the leader, 12 seconds will mean Mayspin. So Brontosaurus is only 7 seconds off the leader with a 6-second penalty of his own.
So it's 13.
He might just lose out there as well too.
By a second.
Cameron might sneak P4, he might go P5. But even so, 30 laps and, you know, very few penalties, that's impressive in itself. What I want to know is, where did those 2 cars lose it? No idea, because they've been removed already. I don't know. So that is Cameron Poulter across the line. Armand to follow and take the win. Then Ginge for P2. And Ronosaurus and Mace.
As we just wait for Ronan now.
Yeah, Ronosaurus ends up P5. With Kieran P6 and J-Doy P7. So
you know what?
actually P8 because Schnitzy's just robbed that off him.
I'm
so P6 and P8 aren't bad for McLaren there, and Warrior Huntsman coming in P9 after having to stop for an extra wing.
J-Doy, Huntsman and Scott all down 7 places. I do not like that. One stop, 31 laps on the medium tyre.
30 laps. He's on 31 now, which is his in lap.
Ah, yeah,
He's on at lap 6. 30 laps on those tyres.
Four. Ronan, hats off to you. Well done. You had your Weetabix.
Weetabix? I think he had more than Weetabix. Yeah, Kieran says he was dead last at one point. Yeah, I mean, I know that's what I was saying. You know, McLaren have done well to pick up some points from this race. It sure as hell didn't quite go to plan today.
Oh, 30 laps on a medium tyre.
Sorry, the wife's watching TV in the background and I was just laughing at something that was said. I don't know, did you catch the double overtake Kieran made?
I'm not sure.
So J-Doy does hold the fastest lap with a 108.895, so that is an extra point from the McLaren team there. And everyone made 2 or 3 stops, besides Cameron decided he needed 4, and Ronosaurus and Schnitzy who both made 1 apiece. But Ronosaurus did 30 laps, started P19 and finished P5. That is a 14 place improvement. That's impressive. I mean, I thought it was mad putting 23, 24 laps that we'd seen before onto a set of mediums. But 30 laps? I've never ever seen that before. That is a new record of laps on one set of tyres that I've seen, beyond what we would expect them to be able to do. Because we expect 16, 18, sort of 20 laps on mediums. We do not expect to go 150% of the highest number. That's crazy. So, on that note then, it's Armand for P1, Ginge for P2, and Cameron Poulter for P3, which is our podium. Then we've got Macefin P4, Ronosaurus P5, Kieran P6, Snitsy P7, Jadoy P8, Ori Huntsman P9, and Scotty P10.
As I'm just quickly getting those screen grabs.
Yeah, that's no problem. Unfortunately, during the course of the race, we did lose Joseph, Sociopath, Mataboy, Aiden, and Clay. So, that was not great.
No.
Clay started P16 and finished P16.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up Brazil for Tier 2.
Yeah.
I've been CDR Ninja.
Same thing.
I've been CDR Ninja. I've been joined by Mechanical. And we'll see you back out on track on Thursday.